Bangladesh National League, says EC Secretary. Bihit Puja and Kumari Puja held today on Maha Ashtami of Sharadiya Durga Puja. Crowds of devotees seen at Puja Mandaps. Incident in Khagrachori pre-planned to hamper Sharadiya Durga Puja. Terrorists involved in this incident identified and to be brought to book soon, says Home Advisor. Initiatives taken to provide basic training in journalism and filmmaking to those injured in July mass uprising, says Information and Broadcasting Advisor. Netanyahu agrees to Trump's 20-point peace plan to end the war in Gaza. Death toll in Palestine due to Israeli aggression exceeds 66,000. And in Guwahati, Sri Lanka batting with a victory target of 270 runs against host India in opening match of Women's ODI World Cup. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to News at 10. I am Roya Zabin. You have just heard the headlines. Now news in details. The high-level conference on the situation of Rohingya Muslims and other minorities in Myanmar was held at the General Assembly Hall of the United Nations headquarters in New York tonight. The objectives of the UN-organized conference are to mobilize political support, sustain international attention on the crisis, review the overall situation, and address its root causes, including human rights issues. The conference aims to review the crisis and exchange perspectives on the ground situation in order to propose a comprehensive, innovative, concrete, and time-bound plan for a sustainable resolution. Key priorities include ensuring the voluntary, safe and dignified return of Rohingya Muslims to Myanmar. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus delivered his speech in the opening session.
Rohingya crisis originated in Myanmar. Its solution lies in Myanmar. The international community must put effective pressure on Myanmar and the Arakan army to immediately stop persecution of the Rohingyas and start working for their expeditious repatriation to Rakhine. It is the only solution of the crisis. It should not be held hostage to broader reforms in Myanmar. As funding declines, the only peaceful option is to begin their repatriation. This will entail far fewer resources than continuing their international protection. Go back home. As an immediate step, those who recently crossed into Bangladesh, escaping conflict, must be allowed to repatriate. Bangladesh is a victim of the crisis. We are forced to bear huge financial, social, and environmental costs. Criminal activities, including narco flows into Bangladesh through Rakhine, threaten our social fabric. Given our development challenges, including unemployment and poverty, we do not afford to allow employment of Rohingyas inside Bangladesh. Towards a sustainable resolution of the crisis, I propose the following actions by the international community. First, devise a practical roadmap for safe, dignified repatriation of the Rohingyas with reasonable and stabilization of Rakhine. Second, exert effective pressure on Myanmar and the Arakan army to end violence against Rohingya and start their sustainable repatriation, beginning with those who recently arrived in Bangladesh and those who are internally displaced. Third, mobilize international support to stabilize Rakhine and place international civilian presence to monitor stabilization. Fourth, support confidence-building measures for sustainable integration of Rohingya in Rakhine society and governance. Fifth, mobilize donor contribution to fully fund the joint response plan. Sixth, pursue accountability and restorative justice. Seventh, dismantle the narco economy and combat
United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has expressed his full support and solidarity with Bangladesh's ongoing democratic transition and reform initiatives. He made the remarks during a meeting with Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at the UN headquarters in New York on Monday. During the meeting, the two sides discussed a wide range of issues, including political reforms, preparations for the upcoming general election scheduled for February, accountability for the atrocities committed during the July uprising, global trade concerns surrounding protectionist tariff measures, and International Rohingya Conference. The chief advisor briefed the Secretary-General on the reform measures undertaken by the interim government and its commitment to ensuring a free, fair and peaceful election. The next few months will be crucial. Need your support for the election, Professor Yunus said, highlighting that the ousted regime and its allies were funding disinformation campaigns using stolen assets in a bid to destabilize the country ahead of the vote. In response, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres reaffirmed the UN's strong support for Bangladesh's democratic transition and reform agenda. He also reiterated the UN's ongoing commitment to global advocacy for a durable solution to the Rohingya crisis. The chief advisor expressed gratitude to the Secretary-General for convening the high-level International Rohingya Conference. Foreign Advisor Tauhid Hussain, National Security Advisor Dr. Khalilur Rahman, Principal Secretary Shirajuddin Mia and SDG Coordinator Lamia Murshid were present. Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus has called on international human rights organizations to increase their engagement with Bangladesh in the lead up to the country's crucial national election scheduled for February next year. Speaking during a meeting with a delegation of prominent human rights defenders at his hotel in New York on Monday, Professor Yunus stressed importance of their continued visits. The hour-long meeting was led by Kerry Kennedy, president of Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, and included representatives from several major international advocacy organizations. During the discussion, Professor Yunus provided an overview of Bangladesh's preparations for the upcoming election, ongoing reform efforts across various sectors, and recent initiatives to address human rights concerns. The chief advisor said the interim government started with a completely broken system. He said 11 reform commissions have been formed to provide recommendations across key sectors. Looking ahead to the February election, Professor Yunus stressed a full vote, something he said Bangladesh has long lacked. Our goal is the highest voter turnout in Bangladesh's history. However, he warned that some international actors appear to be attempting to disrupt the election process. They are well prepared, and that's what makes the situation dangerous. The next few months are critical, he added. Catherine Cooper, Staff Attorney, Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights, Mandip Tiwana, Secretary General, Civicus Matthew Smith, CEO and founder, Fortify Rights, Sabanaz Rashid Dia, Executive Director, Tech Global Institute, Caroline Nash, Asia Advocacy Director, Amnesty International, Mohammad Ashrafuzzaman, Visiting International Scholar, Ohio University, and Jaslina Rana, UN Advisor, Civicus, among others, attended the meeting. United Nations Under-Secretary-General Rabab Fatima has announced that her office will support an independent readiness assessment for Bangladesh's graduation from least developed country (LDC) status, following a formal request from the country's interim government. He made the announcement during a meeting with Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at his hotel in New York on Monday. Rabab Fatima, who also serves as the UN High Representative for the least developed countries, landlocked developing countries and small island developing states. She stated that the readiness assessment is expected to begin within a month and be completed by mid-January. It will be conducted jointly by an international consultant and a Bangladeshi expert to ensure a comprehensive and balanced evaluation. The assessment will involve extensive consultations with key stakeholders, including government officials, business chambers, developing experts, civil society leaders, donors, financial institutions, and political representatives to determine whether Bangladesh is adequately prepared for the transition. Chief Advisor Yunus welcomed the initiative, emphasizing the need for empirical evidence before proceeding with the graduation. It has become an emotional issue, he remarked, highlighting the importance of objective data in informing policy decisions. Besides, United Nations High Commissioner for Refugee UNHCR Filippo Grandi, the UN Secretary-General's Special Envoy on Myanmar, Julie Bishop, and UNICEF Executive Director Catherine Russell held separate meetings with Chief Advisor Professor Mohammad Yunus at his hotel in New York on Monday. During the meeting, they discussed issues related to Rohingya crisis. Bangladesh and Turkey have agreed to co-host a global conference early next year on women in Islam, bringing together leading Muslim scholars and researchers and highlighting countries that showcase best practices in advancing women's rights. The discussion was reached during a meeting between Bangladesh's Women and Children Affairs Advisor Sharmin Murshid and Turkish Minister for Social Services Mahinur Ozdemir Gotka in New York on Monday. The two sides also agreed to strengthen cultural and technological exchanges between Bangladesh and Turkey and to set higher standards for cooperation in the field of the care economy and social services. Turkey further committed to providing training and capacity building programs to develop professional women caregivers for local, Turkish and international markets, Murshid said. Murshid also held the portfolio of social welfare, both countries having ratified the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, agreed to share experiences, challenges and achievements of women in Muslim societies. The mass killings during the July uprising were carried out at 438 locations across 41 districts in Bangladesh. Lethal weapons were used in more than 50 districts. Mohammad Alamgir, the investigation officer in the Crimes Against Humanity case against the deposed Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina and her two top aides, made the statement today before the International Crimes Tribunal 1. The testimony was recorded before the International Crimes Tribunal 1 today, headed by Chairman Justice Muhammad Ghulam Murtaza Majumdar. The two other members of the tribunal are Justice Shofiul Alam Mahmood and Justice Mohitul Haq Inam Chaudhry. The Chief Investigation Officer Mohammad Alamgir was testifying as the 54th witness in the case. To ensure transparency of the trial process on crimes against humanity to both the nation and the international community, the testimony was broadcast live on television and the tribunal's official Facebook page. On the third day of testimony, case documents, seizure lists, documentary evidence and video footages were presented before the tribunal. From these seized materials, it was revealed that Sheikh Hasina used more than 50 mobile SIM cards. In addition, video reports of international media outlets BBC and Al Jazeera were also presented as evidence before the tribunal. Meanwhile, the International Crimes Tribunal 2 fixed October 6 as the next date for recording testimony in the case filed over crimes against humanity in the killing of Abu Saeed. The case is against former Begum Rokeya University Vice-Chancellor Hasibur Rashid and 30 others. The order was passed in the morning by the judicial panel headed by Tribunal 2 Chairman Justice Nazrul Islam Chaudhry. The Election Commission has decided to give registration to National Citizen Party NCP and Bangladesh Jatiya League as political party. Senior Secretary of Election Commission Akhtar Ahmed informed this to newsmen at Nirbachon Bhavan in the capital today. He said that public notification will be issued regarding the two political parties. Besides, a further scrutiny will be held regarding 12 parties. However, petition of 7 parties were not approved. The EC's senior secretary further mentioned that decision will be taken later over the election symbol of NCP. Maha Ashtami, the third day of the 5-day Sharodiyo Durga Puja, was celebrated today amid due religious fervor and solemnity across the country. From early morning, devotees all over the country have taken part in rituals including Ashtami Bihit Puja and Kumari Puja at temples and puja mandaps. As in previous years, thousands of devotees gathered at Thaka Ramakrishna Mission and Math to witness the Gala Kumari Puja held with traditional pomp and solemnity. Devotees offer prayers to Mahagaurima on the 8th day of Navratri by engaging in a variety of puja rituals, including chanting Durga mantras, performing Havan rites and reciting Durga Shaptami Path. In Hinduism, this day is regarded as one of the most important days. On this day, Mohishasur, the demon, was killed by Ma Durga. The triumph of good over evil spirits is also celebrated. On this day, the majority of devotees participate in special pujas and observe fasts. Priests and worshippers prayed for the triumph of humanity and good over evil and expressed hopes for building a society of harmony and peace. The incident in Khagrachori was deliberately carried out to prevent the Durga festival. Home Advisor Lieutenant General retired Mohammad Jahangir Alam Chaudhry told this to newsmen after visiting the Takeshwari National Temple Puja Mandap today. Those miscreants involved in the incident have been identified and they will be brought under the purview of law soon, he added. The Home Advisor urged the journalists to verify facts before disseminating news. Inspector General of Police IGP Baharul Alim has said that no violence centering Durga Puja will be tolerated. He stated this at a press conference held at the police headquarters today. At that time, he said that police are ensuring law and order at every puja mandap across the country with equal importance. The IGP confirmed that out of 31,606 ongoing Durga Puja celebrations, law enforcement agencies have so far arrested 19 accused in 15 cases over around 49 isolated incidents nationwide. In addition, regarding the cases filed during the anti-discrimination movement, police have submitted charge sheets in 55 cases. The IGP instructed investigating officers to remain extremely cautious so that no innocent person falls victim to harassment. In response to journalists' questions about the upcoming election, the IGP said Bangladesh police are fully capable of ensuring a fair election. In coordination with the Election Commission, various training programs are being conducted. So far, over 150,000 police personnel have completed training and are prepared for election duties. Regarding the recent incident in the hill tracks, the IGP said the main accused has already been arrested and taken in for questioning. He also said a certain group is exaggerating the issue in an attempt to create instability in the country. Police are moving forward with a fair and impartial investigation. The National Telecommunication Monitoring Center (NTMC) has launched a special app to prevent any kind of sabotage at 31,576 Durga Puja mandaps across the country. NTMC Director General Major General Abdul Qayyum Mullah disclosed the information at a press conference at the NTMC office in Tejgaon this afternoon. He said the app has established a direct link between the government and the temples across the country. If any act of sabotage or untoward incident occurs, or even if there is a threat, the law enforcement agencies will be able to take immediate action. Information and Broadcasting Advisor Mohammad Mahfouz Alam said an integrated training course will be soon launched at the Bangladesh Cinema and Television Institute (BCTI) for the July mass uprising injured who are interested in art, culture and film. He made the remarks while addressing a cultural program as part of the Youth Festival organized by the BCTI today, marking the completion of 4 short-term training courses. He said there are still at least 300 million Bangla-speaking people in Bangladesh and India combined, which constitutes a huge potential audience. The advisor called upon filmmakers and trainees to produce high-quality contents to meet people's demands. He said Now, international news.